Hello, Desert Edge.
Today is Friday, May 1st, 2020. We hope everybody's staying healthy out there.
Detv At Home edition begins right now. Coming up on today's show, choir teachers make a kind gesture for the class of 2020.
And we'll have some tips on ways to protect yourself from COVID-19 while in public.
And Brad is back in the kitchen whipping up some tasty dessert. Good morning, Desert Edge. I'm Caillou Carlos.
And I'm Reese Beaumont. Welcome back to our 5th episode of Detv At Home.
Topping the news today, District Superintendent Dennis Runyon sent out an email this week congratulating teachers and students in our learning community for all their efforts and for creating many creative online academic and virtual classroom activities.
Great job to everyone and keep on working hard with your head high. We're almost done with the school year.
Let's move on to some more district and DE news.
First, Lady Scorpions Philana Nugan and Natalie Figueroa received the Sports 360 AZ All-American First Team Award for girls tennis, and Nicholas Parks received the first award for boys tennis. Also, congratulations to Matt Cammons, Dimitri Pettit, and Eduardo Ronquillo for being part of the first all-academic team for baseball.
The COVID-19 outbreak certainly put a wrench in the works for the class of 2020, and many seniors feel like the best parts of their last year of high school were stolen from them, and teachers around the district empathize with them. And Algrafria's district choir teachers came together to put together their own song as a tribute to the class of 2020 for all their hard work and dedication and to help them push through the last couple weeks of their high school career.
Happiness and rest with the golden gift of melody. May all your ears be blessed. For we wish you music as you go your way. Music with you every day and in your heart a joyful song that sings your whole life long. For we wish you music. As you go your way. May a song that cheers you be with you every day. For we wish you laughter, happiness and rest, with a golden gift of melody. May all your ears be blessed, and in your heart a joyful song that sings your whole life long.
What a nice gesture that song was. Our district choir teachers aren't the only ones making music from home. With concert venues closed and tours canceled around the country, musical artists are getting creative from home.
Would you be my little quarantine?
Among these bands, 21 Pilots recorded their song Level of Concern from home.
I don't know if this helps it, but good job.
Alicia Keys premiered her song Good Job as a tribute to those one on the front lines of the battle against coronavirus, but not all the tributes were serious.
Oh, yeah, kitty, kitty. Mama's got some treats for you.
90s and early 2000s punk band The Offspring fought their boredom by covering Here Kitty Kitty by Tiger King star Joe Exotic, all while maintaining a safe 6. And one of the biggest hits of the 90s and early 2000s was All Star by Smash Mouth. We all know the catchy tune. Well, today Andrew Caldwell sits down with Smash Mouth guitarist Sean HURVITZ to see how he is handling the lack of tours and concerts. Andrew?
Thanks so much, guys. I'm here with Sean HURVITZ. He's a guitarist who's known best for playing alongside Enrique Iglesias and also known for playing with Steve Harwell and Smash Mouth. Sean, thanks so much for coming onto the show.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Sean, did you have to stop touring during the virus?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all our live work just went. There's nothing left right now, and the issue is we just don't know when it's going to come back.
Mm-hmm. When touring does come back, will you guys be continuing the tour immediately?
Oh, of course, man. I've got stuff scheduled. Until 2 days ago, I had stuff scheduled for June, and now it got pushed back. And now I have stuff for July and August, and eventually that might get pushed back as well. But as soon as like we've got shows booked already, but the issue is that the cities have to call and say, "Hey guys, I know you were booked, but we can't put on the show because of this whole situation." So, the management or the agent talks to them and they figure, okay, well, either here's your money back or let's postpone it and do it in September or October, but let's keep the gig, let's keep the show. So the point is, I still have things on the books for, well, I guess not the next 2 months, but after that, I have things booked for the whole year. Question is, will it happen or not? I don't know.
Are you at all worried about getting outside and getting sick, or are you confident you're going to stay safe and healthy?
No, man, it's, I mean, the answer is yes, I'm concerned. Less for me, I'm more concerned about, my wife has asthma, so I just want to make sure that she in no way, shape, or form is compromised by me having it. Even if I have symptoms or don't, I'm worried about her health. So yeah, I'm worried about it. It doesn't stop me from going out and getting groceries when I need. So I go out once a week. Like, we'll go out and walk the dog, but there's no one around, everyone stays away from each other. And I'll go out and get groceries when we need some, usually about once a week, once every 10 days or so, but that's about it. Like, there's no reason to take extra risks.
Finally, there's a band called 21 Pilots. They actually released a song called Level of Concern recently. They even released a no-budget music video, which means they didn't have any money to make the music video, so they made it by themselves in quarantine. Do you have any plans to release any music during quarantine?
That's a great question. I released my second album a few days ago, so yes, I am. Look, I'm creating in the studio every day. That's basically what I'm doing. It's what I do normally when I'm home. I just usually that is broken up by live shows. So I go out for a week or 3 days or a month and come back and work all day in the studio, and then go out for some more shows and then come back and work in the studios. That's usually my life. Now it's just the studio all the time, every day. I would say 12 to 16 hours a day I spend in the studio working. As far as releasing, so I'm working, and then I'm putting out music my main thing is TV and film. So I'm constantly putting out content. I record a new song every day and put it out to libraries, music libraries that license it to TV and film and commercials and stuff like that. So I am creating and I am putting it out. As far as putting out music for people, well, that's on my Spotify and all over. I have my album Ambient Dreams that came out at the beginning of March, and now I just put out Electro Beats, which is an electronic. It's more EDM related. There's some reggaeton in it and stuff, but yeah. So this is not stopping me. This disease, this situation is not stopping me from creating. I'm creating every day. And I'm putting out content every day to YouTube in the form of videos, music on Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. So it's not stopping the creativity. It's just stopping for me, it's stopping the live performances, which is a pretty big portion of my income, to be honest.
Thank you so much, Sean, for being on the show today. Before we sign off, would you like to say anything to the viewers who are watching the show at home?
Yeah. For what it's worth, I recently started about mid-February. We started recording tutorial videos to an extent, not necessarily tutorial with what I use in the studio yet, but just stuff for musicians and artists. So if you're a musician or artist, it's worth checking out my YouTube. It's just Sean Hurwitz Music, but you look up Sean Hurwitz, you'll find me. Maybe we can even link it in this. And it's just information for you guys about what it takes to be a musician. And I know Andrew and I met because, I mean, we just did a live Instagram thing not too long ago where you were playing for fans that were watching with me. And if you're a musician or an artist or a songwriter and you want to take it to the next level, there's free material out there. On my YouTube video. And if you have any questions and stuff like that that you'd like me to talk about that I haven't spoken about yet, I'm always looking for some feedback and comments, and let me know, because I'm always looking for more to put up. And of course, Spotify, Sean Hurwitz, Apple Music, Deezer, any of them, all of them. My music is out there if anyone wants to listen. That's it.
All right. That's all from me. With DTV Quarantine Edition, I'm Andrew Caldwell. Back to you guys at home.
Thanks for that, Andrew.
When we come back, we'll have some helpful tips for staying safe while going out of the house.
And Celeste will catch us up on what's going on in the world.
DETV will be right back. Welcome back. Even though practicing self-isolation is important during this time, people still need to go out and buy supplies and conduct essential business. Going out requires extra safety precautions to keep ourselves and others safe. Net and Dulce Duarte address some important safety precautions to take while going in public.
Every day, people go outside knowing that in any moment they can get COVID-19.
The concern I have every time I go outside is if I can get corona.
People usually wear gloves or face masks when they go outside to protect themselves.
A way I protect myself is to make sure I bring hand sanitizer to every public place I go to.
Bringing hand sanitizer is a great way to help prevent getting the virus, but there's other things you can also do. Just be safe when you go outside.
Now it's time to get updated on what's been going on in the world.
Our news anchor, Celeste Olivas, has been checking the news feeds for the latest stories. What have you found, Celeste?
Thanks, guys. I'm doing my best to find the latest national and international stories. Today we have a cancellation of a primary, a celebrity chef does her best to help out, and a widespread core testing on the world news docket. Let's get started. New York becomes the first state to cancel a presidential primary due to the coronavirus, and while Bernie Sanders dropped his bid for the Democratic nomination against Joe Biden on April 8th, some Sanders supporters aren't happy. They argue it violates the DNC's delegate selection plan. Governor Andrew Cuomo said it was a tough decision for the State Board of Elections, but one he would not second-guess. The last in-person primary of the cycle took place in Wisconsin on April 7th. After the governor's plan to postpone it, it was struck down in the courts. Despite precautions, the state has learned of several cases of coronavirus among those who voted or worked the polls that day. For one Boston chef, food is about bringing people together, and he isn't changing his message. Even if coronavirus is keeping people physically apart, Chef Ming Tsai is using his kitchen for those in need. Every morning for the past month, volunteers, as well as what's left of the Blue Dragon staff, packs meals into a truck for the trip to East Boston. Using donations from the Greater Boston Food Bank and money from the Lee Initiative, Tsai has been able to expand and now feeds 200 to 300 out-of-work restaurant employees and their families every day. On Monday, the U.S. coronavirus death toll passed 55,000, and as more states move to mitigate the economic toll, the White House unveiled a national blueprint for ramping up testing across the country. The announcement came after President Trump and Vice President Pence held a call with the nation's governors, who have stressed how crucial expanded testing is to reviving their economies. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on Monday told Fox News Radio the next coronavirus package will likely help states and cities. Both McConnell and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said their chambers will be back at work next Monday. That's all for me. Back to you.
The whole world is pushing through this pandemic that will go down in history.
But this week is the anniversary of the death of one of history's most infamous characters. Von Hopridge has more.
Picture this. You're the glorious leader of a nation. You're growing and growing through your military might. But then it happens. You start to lose. You're pushed all the way back to where you started. Now what? Hostile soldiers are surrounding your house, asking you to come out with your hands up. What do? Well, on April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler was in the exact situation. Cornered in his bunker, Hitler decided to kill himself rather than face justice from the world. As the war continued to go against Germany, Hitler's dream of a mighty Third Reich was destroyed. As the Allies found and surrounded his bunker, the Allies asked him to come out alive, but Hitler didn't comply and killed himself. That's it for me. Detv At Home. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. While stuck at home, it can be hard to stay entertained, but thankfully Hayden Ramos is here each week to review an interesting game that can help keep people entertained. Hayden?
This week's game didn't do too well commercially, but it's a blast to play and deserves a shout out. Sunset Overdrive was created by Insomniac Games. In the game, a company called Vizco releases an energy drink called Overcharged Delirium XT. But this isn't a Red Bull or Monster. It ends up that the Overcharged Delirium is no Monster energy drink. It does turn anyone who drinks it into a vile monster. As one of the survivors, the player plans to take down Fizco and stop the distribution of Overcharged to the population. Overall, it got a 9 out of 10 on Steam, 8 out of 10 on GameSpot, and an 81 out of 100 on Metacritic. Sunset Overdrive is available on Xbox One and Steam, so check it out if you can.
Thanks for that, Hayden. For those who prefer movies over games, Michael Giles is here to tell us about a newly released comedy movie that the whole family can enjoy. Michael?
Thanks, guys. Have you ever heard of someone going from being a shark to a werewolf? That's exactly what Taylor Lautner did. Lautner, who was made famous by his role as Jacob the Werewolf in the Twilight Saga. But in 2005, before his days as a werewolf, Lautner was Sharkboy from the film Sharkboy and LAVAGIRL. The action-packed, family-friendly movie explores a young boy's imagination trying to escape the harsh reality of his real life. Lautner and his friends travel through different fantasy lands and try to defeat Mr. Electrode and save his imagination. Sharkboy and LAVAGIRL is available on Netflix with a subscription as well as YouTube, Vudu, Google Play, Amazon Prime, and iTunes for $3.99. I'll be back next week with another movie to make your quarantine a little more entertaining. For DETV, I'm Michael Giles.
Thanks for that, Michael. Now it's time for my favorite part of the show. Today, Bradley Down teaches us to make my favorite part of any meal, dessert.
Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of my cooking show. Today we're making funfetti cupcakes. Oh, and one thing. We have a special guest, my sister, Kate.
Hello.
So for our ingredients, we'll start off with
4 eggs,
vanilla, butter, baking powder, salt, buttermilk, whole milk, powdered sugar, flour, sugar, olive oil, and last but not least, rainbow sprinkles. And now that you know the ingredients,
Let's get started. You're gonna wanna put half a cup of butter in, and then you're going to do half a cup of oil, and then you mix it together.
and mix the oil and butter together until they become homogeneous. Then add 1.5 cups of sugar, beat on high until the mixture is light and fluffy and turns a very pale yellow. And now that the mixture is a pale yellow, we will add 4 eggs, one at a time. Make sure to wipe down the bowl every time you mix an egg.
Make sure to get all egg shells out.
I'm cutting that.
No, you need to have that. Now that all the eggs are mixed, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. And you're going to mix it together.
First add 3 cups of cake flour. Then add 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder.
And then you just whisk that together. Then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt.
A little bit less than what you just put.
We'll just stop right there.
And then mix it all together again. And once you're done mixing, you can add 1 1/3 cups of buttermilk.
Alright, and then you're going to add your buttermilk to your ingredients. And then you're going to mix that together. Okay, and then 3 different increments you're going to add your flour mix. And then you're going to mix it together.
And then add 1/3 of a cup of sprinkles. And then mix together. And now that you're done mixing the sprinkles into the baking mix, you can now put it into the cupcake pan. Then preheat your oven to 350 degrees and leave it in for 25 minutes.
And once they're finished baking,
We can go on and make some frosting. And for the first step in making the frosting, add 1 cup of room temperature butter and 4 cups of powdered sugar. And then mix it together. And once you're done mixing the flour and the butter, you can add 1 tablespoon of vanilla. After you added the vanilla, you can add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And now we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of milk, one at a time. And we'll be mixing in between the tablespoons.
now we're going to add some sprinkles. And mix it up.
And now that we're done making the frosting, we can add some color with some food coloring. Well, there you have it. That concludes the 5th episode of my cooking show where we made confetti cupcakes. Aren't they beautiful? Well, thanks for watching and have a great day.
That does it for today. Another episode of DETV at Home is in the books.
Remember, you can send us requests, suggestions, story ideas, and announcements to detv2012@gmail.com.
Until next time, I'm Caillou Carlos.
And I'm Reese Beaumont. We'll see you next week.
Wow.